You're getting ready to retire and have saved in pensions and maybe other investments over the years. So you've probably built up what we call a portfolio. Perhaps over that time you've learned a lot about how to invest for your retirement. But now that you're planning to stop work and maybe take an income from your pensions, should you stick with the same investment strategy that has served you, hopefully well, up to that point? The answer is absolutely not. Now that you're no longer working and unlikely to be contributing much into your pension, if anything at all, you need to completely rework how you invest. Your main goal now isn't accumulation. It's not making your pension savings as large as possible. It's making sure your retirement savings last your lifetime. You want to make sure that you outlive your money and your money doesn't outlive you. Let's take a look at what to consider when investing once you're retired to make sure that your money lasts. Well, the first thing to know is that pound cost averaging can work against you when you are in what's known as the decumulation phase. This is the phase when you're drawing down, you're taking out your retirement savings to provide you with an income stream in your retirement. If you're not familiar with the principle of pound cost averaging, take a look at my video on that specific topic. In brief, it's where you're paying into an investment regularly and you're buying shares at different prices each and every month. So when prices are low, you buy more shares for your fixed monthly contribution, and when prices rise again, you'll obviously buy fewer shares. But the ones that you bought more cheaply will have risen in value too. Overall, this has the effect of smoothing the ups and downs of the share price over time. In retirement, you're doing the opposite. You're selling part of your investment each time you withdraw an income. The problem arises when you're drawing out a large percentage of your investment portfolio and there is a prolonged downturn in the stock market, if that's where you're invested. You may have heard of the so-called 4% rule, which is a rule of thumb rather than a hard and fast rule, but it's a helpful guide when it comes to working out how much you can withdraw from your retirement savings before you run out of money. The 4% rule states that you can comfortably withdraw 4% of your savings in your first year of retirement and adjust that amount for inflation for every subsequent year without the risk of running out of money for at least 30 years. Let's say you have a portfolio of a value of a nice easy number of £100,000 and you're taking out 4% each year to top up your other income, maybe your state pension. So that's a withdrawal rate of £4,000 a year, so that's before tax. Now, let's say there's a market decline of 35%, which means that your £100,000 investment pot is now worth only £65,000. Your £4,000 income as a percentage of £65,000 has suddenly become 6.2% withdrawal rate, which is a significant increase. And what's more, your pension pot will now only last 16 years at this rate of withdrawal, not the planned 30 years. If you're dependent on having that £4,000 to maintain a basic standard of living, and if the market stays declined for a year or more, then you might need to find alternative ways to fund your expenditure, or cut your spending accordingly. The second thing to consider for your investment strategy once you've retired is that minimizing tax is more important than ever in retirement. Pensions are, of course, taxable when they're paid out to you, except obviously for any tax-free cash element. There are steps that you can take to minimize the tax you pay, such as making use of your personal allowance. For example, each individual can earn £12,570 in the 22-23 tax year without paying income tax, and that figure is frozen until April. That tax allowance is frozen until April 2026. You can also look at taking some of your pension tax-free, as I mentioned, normally 25%, in line with the pension commencement lump sum rules. If some of your retirement savings are in an ISA, they can be withdrawn free from income tax, regardless of the personal allowance rules, and the first £2,000 of dividend income can be taken tax-free. Paying 20% tax is always better than paying 40%, so work out a plan for which your assets you will draw upon first to take full advantages of the available allowances. Keep an eye on the costs of investing is also crucial, and that's a third consideration. It can be difficult to understand the true cost of investing. You need to ask your pension provider or your financial advisor for all of the costs involved. There are platform costs, drawdown review costs, fund management charges, advisor charges, and many more. They're all taking a chunk out of your portfolio. You can maximize the value of your pension pot by making sure you're getting good value at each level of these costs, and try and keep these costs as low as you can and also get the advice that you need. It's common sense, really, but it's especially important, I think, once you're drawing down from your accumulated wealth, especially rather than adding when you are adding to it. Fourth, crucially, you must monitor and keep control of your spending. Make sure a financial advisor builds a cash flow forecast. If you've got one, or build one yourself, which maps your expected income and expenditure for your lifetime. It illustrates how long your money will last. You can also create a simplified version of this yourself on a spreadsheet. Within these models, you can scenario plan and reduce or increase your expenditures to see what impact that they will have upon your money in different scenarios and when it will run out. It can be eye-opening to appreciate the impact of cutting back on your spending, or for those who can afford it, to get permission that they can afford to do the things they really want to in retirement and still not run out of money. Get a grasp on your spending, understand its impact on your lifetime cash flow. The fifth consideration when investing for a long retirement is understanding where your pension is invested. I'm not a fan of these risk assessment questionnaires. What you really need to do is build an investment portfolio that matches that cash flow. What is the minimum you need, and how much should you have in cash that you get a guaranteed return, maybe in the next 3 to 4, 5 years, etc. And then you can have further investments for the longer part of your retirement. Finally, make sure you review your numbers every year, including the suitability of those investments. Make sure your advisor asks you, or ask yourself if you don't have an advisor, what was my spending like last year? Was it more or less than I thought? What do I plan to spend in the coming year? Is it more or less than last year? Are there any one-off costs I need to think about? And are my investments still in the right portfolio for me and my circumstances? Will my retirement savings still last my lifetime? You've probably been disciplined with your savings for retirement, so try to keep that discipline going when it comes to managing these savings throughout your retirement. Thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. I'm Justin King. I'm a chartered and certified financial planner, and my aim and goal is to help people live successful lives. In my experience, that often involves understanding your money. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, press the like button and subscribe to help more people like you find my channel, and so that you can be notified as and when I put out new videos. For now, I'm Justin King, helping you live your best life.